offline participants at the STEAM Plus webinar. STEAM Plus is a European Union supported project. It's about seeing that how the STEAM education agenda could be also used in lifelong learning and in adult education. And today I will share a few thoughts about how Finland is using multidisciplinary approaches in lifelong learning, and also how the educational scene is transforming in Finland, and how this multidisciplinary approach, what has been important already as part of as the national core curriculum, become important also in the lifelong learning scene, and how this educational scene is changing due to many social changes what we are experiencing nowadays. The webinar will be roughly 1 hour in length, but we will try to make it so that in the end part we will have a little time to discuss as well. So let me share the screen. Just a moment. Yes. Here we go. So my name is Kristóf Fenyvesi. I'm working in the Finnish Institute for Educational Research in the University of Jyväskylä, and actually we are now in Jyväskylä. This is a town in central Finland. It's a university town. We are surrounded by quite a few lakes and forests in a beautiful natural environment. And I'm a member of the Innovative Learning Environment Research Group. And I'm also the director of the Experience Workshop STEAM Network. And actually, Experience Workshop is the provider of today's event. So we have the physical guests in Finland, many of them. This is the first time of the visit. We already started with some of them to discuss those basic information, some basic experiences about Finland, which you can also see on the screen. And I would like to start here because I'm sure that many of you are interested in Finland, and also this content, these characteristics also belong to the topic that we're gonna discuss today. So Finland has been famous historically about that being a very young country. It's not so much more than 100 years old. So Finland has been established as an independent country in 1917. However, Finnish people have been living in these lands much earlier already. So, but Finland belonged to the Russian Empire. I mean, the territory, or the Swedish Empire. However, it became very important that such thing as aristocracy probably was always being some kind of foreign construction to the Finnish society. So I think the value of equality, equity, and equal access to the common good has been also some kind of consequence of this historical heritage, and it's still nowadays, but also historically, it's a very much a trust-based society. So trust is a very important value. I'm just keep looking on the right because one of our genuine Finnish participant, Leena Kuorikoski, is sitting in the room. She's a teacher and representing many of these values as a teacher in her school. But I try to look into her eyes that how these so-called facts about Finland is finding some support by her, or she agrees or not what I say, because obviously I'm not Finnish. I'm originally Hungarian, so I've been a guest in Finland in the last 15 years, but I can say that this is also my understanding about Finland. Public education, public healthcare have been also among the main values and been supported since the very beginning of Finland. Social security become a very central value. So to provide as possible, as much as possible, high level of safety, even in turbulent times for the citizens. That has been also identified as a common effort in Finland, especially nowadays when we are experiencing the post-COVID circumstances, and war is very near to us. So there are so many uncertainties around us. So this value is maybe even more important than ever. But on a funny note, I should mention that Finland, despite any other fake news, there are 4 seasons in Finland. So not only the winter, we don't have penguins. We don't have maybe polar bears. No polar bears in Finland, despite any fake news. However, we have seals, and these seals are living in lakes, and these are very special seals to be protected. They call the Norpa. This is the Saima lake system. It's absolutely unique, and we have those wonderful animals there. And mentioning the lakes, there are maybe it's not the latest number on the screen, but 888 lakes has been counted sometimes. Maybe it's less or more today, and quite a high number of islands and a very long coastline, as you can see. So today I will talk about some highlights about Finland, which provides also kind of a social and cultural environment for the concept of lifelong learning. I will shortly talk about Finnish education and impact of digitalization, and also the shortening career cycles and the transformation of lifelong learning. And let's see how far we get today in these topics. These are quite big topics. However, we will continue wherever we end up today in the next webinar, which is taking place actually 1 week later. So I'm also telling to our physical guests that you can join in also 1 week later if you get interested in this topic. So in 1840, that was the start of higher education in Finland. It was the Royal Academy of Turku, which was that time capital of Finland, very near to the Swedish coastline, Turku. That was the first higher education institution. However, Jyväskylä in central Finland, where we are now sitting at the moment, plays a very important role in the history of Finnish higher education, because the first Finnish language teacher education seminary was established in this town in 1863, and this was the first teacher training institution which provided native language training for the teacher, because this was the time when the creation of the Finnish national ethos, the Finnish national idea, and the national culture became very important. And actually, this was also a very important process, milestone in the process, which led to the announcement of the independence of Finland, that the thinkers, intellectuals that time recognized that probably the language is the common denominator in Finland, being in a quite large territory, country with a low number of population and also many dialects all over in Finland, but probably the national language which played an important role, whether it was the Swedish rule, whether it was the Russian rule, but the national language which could be the connection point between the Finnish people, the Finnish nation. So teachers who are educated in their native language, they can make the change. They can create Finland. That was the thinking that time, and also a very innovative idea started to take place. A concept known as Kansa Koulu. Was it like everyone's school, or how would you say translate it, or the school of the people? Or everybody's school was taking place. So you can see that in the very beginning of this history of Finnish education on its own, this for everybody, that was at the starting point. And this means that whether it would be in the countryside, in homes, in like farmers' houses, maybe some couple of farmers just joined forces. They put together a little money to have a teacher living in their house, and they decided that which house keeping the school in which season, or in which year, or some other system. And the children of the farmers got a teacher, and the education started even where there was no institutional school provided that time. So it was very much a bottom-up movement, very much based on the people's own contribution, own efforts to make this happening. And I think this have a very strong impact even today, when we will talk about it, that also the taxes are the highest, maybe all around the world. In Finland, one of the countries where the highest taxes we have. However, I heard strangely many Finnish people saying that, but I'm happy to pay this tax because I know that where it goes, and I want to support the education. I want to provide the free meal for the children, the free books, the free pencils, and also the good health care I want. So there are many benefits which the people can enjoy, and this is based on their own contribution, and this has been in the culture even before Finland has established on its own. So this network of schools and also this network thinking has been really in the beginning. So we haven't really nowhere about the networks as an organizational idea, as a structural idea. We talk all the time about this today when we have this digital network available that makes also an impact also that how we think about organizations. But as you can see, this idea has been there even before that time. And also the impact not only from the everyday people, but also from the wealthy people, that who has more needs to afford more on this public good. That was also already in the logic. So people of Jyväskylä, wealthy people of Jyväskylä who made their fortune, maybe as traders, maybe as business people, they provided scholarship for these teachers. And also at the same time, they innovated also the language to make Finnish available for modern sciences. So even the word of science has been created that time, and it has also some connections to Jyväskylä. There was a person, Uno Signeus, who been a multi-talented person who was critically thought on all these levels. And actually, they also named Jyväskylä as the Athens of Finland. We have a art historian from South Africa whose mother was Greece. So I try to mention it very humbly that now you are in the Athens of Finland. But this was so much that time, these driving ideas of the age. And this also led to the creation of from a early childhood teacher education seminar to the teacher education college later. And I must say that when we talk about the early childhood education, kindergarten teachers, these teachers are still most important, one of the most important in the system. So the Finnish education want to provide the very strong foundations right from the beginning, and many also sort of social innovations connected to this. We won't check it out now, but if you haven't heard about Baby Box Finland, please take a look. Please Google it. What is Baby Box in Finland? This is a box which full of everything what you need in the first maybe 2-3 years as a parent. And it also serves as a little cradle or a little bed for the baby. But this is also that to provide everyone the safe start regardless of the social status, and use education, use learning as a I would like to ask to mute, yes, to use education as a social transformation, a social shifting, a tool for social transformation to shift between social status. So the university has grown over the decades, and now University of Jyväskylä has 6 faculties. So in the 60s, it was already 4 faculties. And then these main values, which I already mentioned, equity, equality, inclusion in education, have been already part of these early ideas, and that we can see how they organically grown with the system and with the recognition of the critical role of education in the society. So how it looks now, this so-called Finnish miracle, however, Finnish education miracle. However, I would like to emphasize that there is no any miraculous in it. I mean, there is no any miracle in it, but the impact is really miraculous. But there is no miracles behind. So it's not just appeared out of nowhere, but this the story which I try to present. This is the explanation of this so-called miracle. But we try to keep on to have the really highly qualified teachers in the foundation of this system. early childhood education, as I thought, this has a key importance. As I grown up in a very different educational culture, I might say that I recognized, for example, in Hungary, that early childhood educators has been not regarded as the highest qualified among educators, that we have seen that there is also some hierarchy, and always like high school teachers been on the top of this hierarchy. But in Finland is not at all like that. But all teachers are very important, but early childhood education is still in the foundation. And what is this education is for? Of course, it's to support the well-being of the people, well-being of the members of the society, and we can see that there is a holistic approach, so a multi-dimensional approach, that how we try to interpret this well-being and how we try to contribute to this well-being and how we try to support children to become to fulfill their own wish and fulfill their own dreams, whatever it can be, and to support them to find it out during a lifelong learning process. So this is also goes beyond, of course, the formal schooling, and it's also the key importance in the whole lifelong learning era. And there is also a strong emphasis on research, innovation, and international collaboration in the educational system. So what is also important that nowadays we fortunately talk more and more about sustainability and global responsibility. This has been also important to Finland as a small country. A little bit sometimes feel it's a little bit separated because of the geographical location. However, this global awareness is also can be built through education. So also Finnish teachers are supported to travel abroad, and also people are welcome from all over the world here to exchange. And the idea of sustainability has been also very important. So if you take a look of the national core curriculum of Finland for basic education, you can find out that sustainability is not a chapter in there, but the whole curriculum is about sustainability, and it's for supporting sustainability. So United Nations sustainability agenda has been part of the core curriculum since quite a few decades. But now we can see in the current curriculum that it's not only part of it, but it's really the whole curriculum is emphasizing various aspects of this United Nations sustainability agenda. And now we can see, of course, that digital literacy has become unavoidable and also very, very helpful, and also being a challenge for education at the same time. Entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial approaches, and multidisciplinary education. So how to combine different subjects, how to understand that what's beyond the subject. So when we think about like learning for life or learning by doing, we can see that all the subjects have some kind of limitation, some kind of specific viewpoint. So we try to be eager to find out that how we can combine these perspectives and how we can even go beyond these perspectives to answer so-called real life challenges and real life questions. Okay, what other aspects which are contributing to this educational culture in Finland? So to start with the children, of course, when we talk about education, we have to say that children first. So you can see there are a lot of even statistical data, because I thought that we are really research-based, evidence-based. We want to see everything supported with numbers, supported with statistics, supported with mathematicians, supported with data, with facts. So there are a lot of facts about it, that Finland is a good country for children. And these are also some statistics which approach this from several key aspects. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go into this now to discuss all of this. However, as the webinar will be recorded, you might be able to check out these details and look into them and think about what's the connection of these this data to the everyday educational environment. So you can see that Finland has an ambition to be on the top of these aspects. And what's happening when children are growing up? We can see that still Finland is not an exception, of course, from any challenges. What we can see also, like as children are growing up, the teenage life is not the easiest part necessarily, as we also maybe can remember to our own becoming adults. That's never easy. So we can see all the problems like depression, even sadly suicide, and many really big social challenges. However, still Finland try to have like a very organized approach to these problems. And though there are like many shortcomings, like in every other societies and every countries, but there is a sort of a critical effort against this kind of phenomenon. And of course, the public schools take the most of these critical efforts to support parents, support different parts of the society. And we can see that the strategies are worked out on some degree. However, it's good to mention that still a long way to go, even in Finland, in this regard, to see these everyday challenges of becoming adults. And then what comes to the adulthood, lifelong learning, we know it also from the history of this concept, that this has been a very Nordic idea in many ways, and also like Denmark, Danish, Finnish, Swedish, Norwegian, also Germany. So this part of Europe played a very important role in creating even the concept of adult education. However, Nordic countries maybe took the most from this idea in the last few decades. So there is a lot to learn, for example, from Finland, that how to make lifelong learning as an integral part of the society, and to recognize it as a tool when we are facing with phenomenon like shortening career cycles, that when we are experiencing that maybe our grandparents or great-grandparents had the wisdom for us, coming down to us, that be hardworking all the time and try to learn as much as you can to find a profession which gonna benefit for your whole life. Maybe that has been a very valid message some generations before us. However, when we might talk to our great-grandchildren, maybe we would say that learn hard to be prepared for the change, to see that life never be the same from one day to another, and be ready to change anytime and be very flexible all the time and get prepared for the change. So we can see that there is this change from the education, which leads to stability, which leads to some kind of established lifestyle based on the harmony and balance. Maybe we can see that harmony and balance need to be kept up in the transformation and in the change, in the flux, so on the move. So that has been a very big turnaround, I think, also in this kind of context. And we can see that lifelong learning is able to support both. It can be making you a better professional in something what you do, because also professions are changing faster and faster all over the time, and there are professions now which not existed yesterday, and there are professions which existed yesterday but not exist anymore today. So also the retraining is very important, and refocusing our skills. So we try to see that how adult education becomes a tool to being able to retrain ourselves and to renew ourselves. So to see more aspects of this, we can see that for example, the equality has its roots in how people can find their place in society, and becoming able to contribute to the society, irrespectively to the gender or any kind of aspects. So gender equality has been very important. And then we already mentioned entrepreneurial aspects. So also the sustainability based and entrepreneurial thinking and businesses, but also the digitalization are very important. So you can see that why I put these locks on the picture, because this has been called the Finnish gold. But so you can see that how the technological values and the natural values, and the technological environment and natural environment has been very important at the same time. So also supported by quite a few details. However, if there is no news in the newspapers around the world, maybe in summertime, when there's not too much happening in politics locally, then we can always find an article in the magazines that why Finland is the happiest country around the world. I think you all read these articles on some point of the year. However, it's not that much explained many times in these articles that how this measurement is made and what is the basis of this being the happiest country. It's maybe not the most people with the most smiles in the streets or in the events. I won't say that that I saw other countries where people like maybe more than in Finland. However, this is based on very objective research. That what's the people's impression about that, how high is the social support, what's the income, what is my access to the health care, how I can understand my possibilities, freedom, generosity, how I think I can contribute, and I'm contributed by others. And also the low level of corruption. It's written there's absence. Of course, there is no country where there's no corruption. Finland also has cases of corruption, but we can say that the general ethos and the response to corruption is really straight and really clear, and we can see that how this country also introduced quite strong measures in this regard. Yes. Okay, I'm just checking meanwhile the comments. So thanks a lot for following the webinar. Thanks for your comments. So we can see that these are this is the puzzle of the Finnish way of happiness here. I already mentioned this difference between equality and equity. So equality, so equity and equal access not necessarily means to provide the same positive support to everyone, but also means that maybe you need to support more who has more needs, right? So it's very much the needs-based equity and give those what is needed. That's really been also some kind of part of the Finnish wisdom, if I want to say like that. And also you can see it in the education, that we can say that the Finnish educational culture also in the school-based level, in the classrooms, it's very much a needs-based education, how I can serve individual needs and how I can serve group needs. And of course, there are a lot of conflicts between these, and also it's a very difficult story. So, but this is also something what many parts of the Finnish curriculum is discussing, that how you can serve the different needs in educational situations. And this is how we try to prepare teachers also to get ready. And this is also requires a large extent of flexibility. So this is also maybe an explanation that why is it so that Finnish teachers have, if in international comparison, the highest level of freedom of what they are doing and how they are doing. Because though in the curriculum we can see that the goals, the targets are quite clearly described, I can see that in every year, what are those topics which I need to make sure that the learners are completely prepared to master. However, the road what leads there is not really prescribed. So it's basically sort of a little bit like, not totally, but some extent it's up to me how I go there with the students and up to the students. So this is also quite important. And this also requires the trust also in the educational terms. So it's a negotiation-based culture that I keep making contracts with my students as a teacher, keep making agreements with my students. Of course, I'm again talking about the optimal case. The everyday learning is full of challenges, but still the mutual respect and building the mutual respect and building mutual responsibility and building self-responsibility and expecting self-responsibility from the students. This has been really basic in this journey. So education for all and preparing for the future. This is one very simple summary of the whole education system. So there are many aspects here which I already mentioned. So the major changes in the society. So how hard is to fulfill this promise, what I had in the previous slide. So education for all and preparing for the future. Of course, Finland again, in addition to this very programmatic and very conscious effort, what I try to present, but it's also a very small country again. So 5.5 million people, not a big population here. And also I can say that traditionally it has been a quite homogeneous population in terms of culture in many aspects. So this was not impossible to reach. However, how to keep it up according today's realities? This is a big open question which need to be answered actually every day by the teachers, by the educational institutions, and everybody who are around the schools. So we can see that how the career cycles, what I already explained, are shortening. And while we have seen that in maybe previous generation could think about like 20 years of one career. Today, it's, at least in Finland, is 1 to 5 years. So you can imagine that what does it mean to reinvent ourselves in such a short period, and what it requires, because this is not only a personal reinvention, but reinventing of many situations all around, and maybe changing geographical location if it's needed. So Finland has been quite flexible in these terms, and also the job market can have its own demands, and there are many other challenges. So we can also see that there is not only the change, but also the decreasing amount of available jobs and less free time. So also there is the continuous threat that how the job time also have an impact on the recovery period, on the recreational period. However, Finland has been very strict about regulating working hours and make a sharp distinction between working time and family time or free time. So this has been also contributing to the health of the well-being of the society. So, but anyhow, it is the workers, employees, and the systems need to respond to this change very quickly. So there is the high adaptation need, but the almost zero time to be adapted. However, time is really a key factor in adaptation. So adaptation comes with time. So how to make this paradox again working out? So society needs to support the employees, and also these organizations need to support the people in the organization. So we can see still there are these growing demands, still there are sort of impossible demands many times, but there are organizational efforts to minimize this stress and still to contribute to that. And there is also a very challenging goal. We can see that this is that challenging that it might be not working out as it planned. So we might fail in that. But it was being announced that for 2030, the 50% of the whole Finnish population have to have the higher education degree. However, we see that as also in Finland, there are cuts on the higher education level. Maybe university won't be able to fulfill this. Maybe we can get close to that, but we cannot make it. However, it's also been told that if Finland would be remain in the leaders in education, we should address 70%, not even 50. So you can see that how this race is emerging, and also how many aspects that we should even consider, that Finland, what has been looked as a really positive example, it's really needs to make this all day efforts to keep up with this. So it's really tremendous. And when we look at that, how other cultures, how other countries doing, then we can see that the challenge is really big. And now there is many things depends on education. So this is a key question also now in Finland. So when we take a look of the Finnish educational system, there is a lot to see. Okay, someone asked that how higher education is defined. Yes, sorry. Thanks, Kerry, for the question. So I meant it like the academic. I mean the high education, like universities, colleges. So what we
No,
can.
this is a perfect follow-up slide. This is very good. So then,
Yeah.
whereabouts on this wee slide is
Exactly.
it that they want a person to achieve? You want them with a master's, or they want them with a bachelor's?
Exactly. Yes. To reach this degree.
Like a baccalaureate degree
Bachelor,
level.
baccalaureate, or master's degree. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Thanks for the clarification. So higher doesn't mean the quality necessarily, but the level. I mean the level. Yes. So after the secondary education.
Yeah, because previously the achievement was meant that you could leave school at 16, but now you must stay, because previously peruskolo, like the compulsory education, was only until year 9. So they don't mean, do they mean higher education as that they must go and they must complete sort of a lukio or a matikolo, so a vocational
Yeah,
or
yeah, at least a bachelor. Yes,
yeah.
at least a bachelor. This means that the minimum is a bachelor. That's the goal. That 50% of the population need to have at least a bachelor degree in the end. Yes, and Barbara says that it's similar to the Spanish system. Yes, in several countries. However, what I would like to point out in this slide is not only the system, this bottom up arrows, but what's in between. So this middle part. So this is also, I think, a little bit unique, and there are a lot of efforts need to be taken in that how we can provide the transgression, or how can I say, the connection between different branches of education, different directions. So even if someone have vocational qualifications, they can move to a master's or bachelor later, or having the paths between the different branches of education. So no one gets on a one-way track, to say so, by making a decision on some point of life, or not having the opportunity to make a decision on some point, that not being trapped in a situation, but providing the multiple parts in the system. And what you can see, that actually this continues. So what comes after this is the system of adult education. But what's happening in the basic education? So we can see that the the curriculum supports very much to have the school culture as a foundational value to be built in the education. So the community values, and in the center of learning is really the knowledge and skills needed in life. So in the Finnish basic education, the goal is not so much the specialization or building up some kind of exceptional outcomes, or being very elitistic, or something. There is no even like good school or bad school. So all school should be good school, and it's not mustn't happen that if your child is in this school, then maybe they have the better possibilities for higher education later, or there is no actually private schools in that degree. There is maybe like 5% of the school are private, or even less, but they are also in their educational activities, they are supported by the state or the municipality to do their job. And the private schools are like maybe connected to some extras, like there is in Jyväskylä this Christian school, which is a private school, but anyone can go there, and everybody can learn the same kind of curriculum, but maybe they have some special activities which is added to that. Or there is Waldorf school, which is also run by a foundation, but it's really not that big difference that where your kid is going. And we can see also that motivation and joy of learning in ideal case, that's also need to be kept up by learning. That's a goal. You can see it's a little bit different than in maybe another country. Could be the answer that the performance, that the high performance is the most important in elementary school. No, in elementary school is maybe to learn how to learn, to become engaged in learning, to love to learn. And this is also very important, that you can't be lifelong learning in a society where people hate to learn, or they think that school. We just had a very interesting discussion with our guest teachers, with Katalin, about that what kind of metaphors could people use to describe their school. And if you think of your school as a how can I say, as a jail, or as a place of suffering, then it doesn't necessarily mean that you love to be there and you love learn, right? So there is an effort in Finland to build positive belonging to the school as well, and to the community. So, and we can see that the support for learning and assessment for the learning environment, working methods are quite much integrated and for serving this goal. And we can also see that these are also underlying or represented by all subjects. And we can see here an interesting term. It's called transversal competencies. So Finnish education is a competence based system, and here we can see those competencies which are in the basic education. However, you can already find a little bit different name, 5 of them in the early childhood level. And these skills and competencies are also transferred to higher education and also later in the lifelong learning system in adult education. So each of them could be analyzed again, and we could discuss long. There is no time now to go into them, but there's just one point to mention, that in Finland there are still subjects. You can see what are the subjects over time in basic education. From our point of view, I would like to highlight maybe this guidance counseling, which is like sort of career guidance and learning guidance. It's all over provided in the educational system. So there are teachers with professional preparation for guidance counseling in the system. It's also becomes a kind of a subject, right? Or how can is it in secondary school? It's Lena, how is it? You would call it as a subject, this
Yes.
guidance counseling?
I can tell you that my daughter's just started Lukio this year, and I know that Oppi, so this guidance counseling, it happens for this first term, because there are 5 terms through the year. Oh, I'm muted.
No. We hear you. Yes, please.
Okay. But that they have the Oppi, so this guidance counselor. What they do is that the students, when they accept a placement for Lukio, that they state what they want, what they're going to have as their what languages they've had as their second, third languages, and then or fourth some, and then and so in the first term, out of the 5 terms, they have what their schedule is for that term, but the scheduling will be done then with the OPI's help for as you say, taking responsibility or learning how to take care of oneself and managing their own learning. And so through the course, I think they meet 3 times a week so it is a course which is taught. And then this OPI will be with them through their year. I don't think it'll be three lessons a week in each term, but yes, this first term it is.
Yes.
And then they'll set up their own schedules as to how they will manage for the rest of the terms.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. This is at least for my own daughter, how it's being done.
Yeah. So there is a professional support for each children to have also control about their own learning and finding out how they can progress, what kind of subjects they can focus, and if they can choose from subjects what to choose in order to fulfill their career.
Yes, what they want to be.
Yes. So for example, in Hungary, this is more just for some certain periods when you change between different levels of education. So from when you go from the to the higher secondary education, for example, high school, then you have maybe a few occasions when you can meet with the guidance counseling topics, or when you choose your university or future. But it's not like a constant, not like an everyday support. However, in the Finnish school, this is really every day. Yes, and now just to conclude today's webinar, we need to mention that these competences are much more complex, like sustainability, participation, involvement in sustainable future, or cultural competence, interaction, self-expression. So these are not bound to any of the not any of the subjects can fulfill these on its own, but actually each subject need to work together, and there is needed to be combined efforts between the subjects, and this has been the multidisciplinary learning modules. And there is one approach to the multidisciplinary learning, and this is called STEAM, which is the integration between science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. This is not the only way to reach this multidisciplinary learning, but what I would like to emphasize is the integration between different aspects, and integration is really the point for this multidisciplinary learning, and integration, how it can contribute to well-being and to collaborative creativities, and how it can be realized in an educational system of goals when you need to focus on phenomenon-based learning, for example, or real-life phenomenon, and applied learning, learning for life. So thank you so much for your attention. We need to stop now because of the time limit. But I'm very happy that you joined today, and from here we will continue with the further topics in the next occasions. So now, whoever still have time, you are warmly welcome to stay for a few more minutes. And if you have a question, you can write, or you can tell by your with your microphone and with your camera on, however you wish. And also, our guests are here if you want to have a discussion with them. So welcome. Hello, Barbara. Do you want to say something? Okay, please switch on.
Thank you so much. So very, very, very interesting to know about Finnish education. This is one of the top in the world. And here in Spain, we have to learn about your Finnish education and try to join our efforts to combine to develop more STEM education. I think is the future.
Where are you, Barbara? Where in Spain?
In Spain, in the northern Spain. I live in a little village called Espinosa de los Monteros. It's near from Bilbao to Burgos, and I have my own school, STEM school, and work at the university too.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
And
is that that's a where do you have also, that's the Basque sort of region, is it?
Yes. Very near to the Basque.
Okay.
Bilbao is the Basque country in the north.
Yeah.
Is very near.
Okay, brilliant. And do the students they learn the Basque languages as well, or is it just
No, here in my village, in my country, we study in Spanish, but in the nearest village, then yes, they study at Euskera is the name of the language, and in Spanish too. It's a plurilingual education.
Okay. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining, Barbara. And
thank you to you.
Actually, tomorrow we have also a physical session, and Kerry will join us in the physical part, right? Kerry, you will come to Jyväskylä.
Yes, I will be on the bus bright and early.
Okay. Thank you so much. It will be a pleasure to meet you. Okay, and is there any questions or comments from others? Hello, Jada. How are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm fine. I don't have any question, just to say thank you, Christopher, for this morning together.
Thank you so much.
Next time.
Yes, you must come to Finland, you know?
Yes, please.
Okay.
One day I will.
We will find a way to bring you. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
See you so much. See you, and thank you so much.
See you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for everybody. We will continue the webinars soon, and we wish you a great Saturday afternoon. So enjoy. Bye. Goodbye. Thank you.